From scrapyard to Starforce. The alert sounded for the fifth time that day. Lieutenant Commander Maya Chen sighed as she watched another collision warning flash across her monitor at Orbital Command. Earth's orbit had become a deadly obstacle course. Over 250,000 tracked pieces of debris circled the planet, remnants of a century of careless space exploration. Defunct satellites, spent rocket stages, and fragments from countless orbital accidents formed a lethal shroud around humanity's homeworld. Another near miss with the International Orbital Platform, Maya reported to her superior, Colonel Reeves. "That's getting too close for comfort, sir. The situation is becoming untenable," Reeves admitted, his weathered face illuminated by the blue glow of holographic displays. "At this rate, we'll lose our ability to maintain any presence in orbit within 5 years." Maya's specialty was orbital mechanics, but her passion lay in materials engineering. For 3 years, she had been developing a theoretical framework for what she called molecular reconfiguration. Essentially, a system to break down space debris at the atomic level and reassemble it into useful materials. Her proposals had been repeatedly rejected by the Global Space Agency as too costly and speculative. "Colonel, I'd like to revisit my reclamation proposal," Maya ventured cautiously. Reeves gave her a tired look. "Chen, we've been through this. The Oversight Committee." "With respect, sir, the committee evaluated an earlier version. I've made significant breakthroughs." She transferred a file to his terminal. "I've developed a prototype nanite swarm that can break down and reconfigure aluminum alloys with 87% efficiency. In zero-G conditions, I believe we could reach 95%. Reeves scanned the data, his expression shifting from skepticism to cautious interest. "Even if this works, we're talking about a massive undertaking. The resources required would be less than what we're spending on collision avoidance and satellite replacement," Maya interrupted. "And if we succeed, we gain the ability to manufacture in orbit using materials already there." 3 months later, Maya stood aboard the aging space station Horizon, watching as her first experimental nanite swarm approached a derelict weather satellite. The tiny machines, barely visible as a gray cloud, enveloped the satellite and began their work. Microscopic mechanisms disassembled the structure molecule by molecule, sorting elements and restructuring them according to Maya's program templates. "Reconfiguration phase initiating," announced Dr. Elias Okafor, Maya's chief engineer. "Atomic binding processes at optimal levels." Over the next 6 hours, the team watched in amazement as the formless cloud gradually coalesced into a perfect hexagonal panel of solar cells. Where once had been a useless piece of space junk, now floated a pristine power-generating module, ready for immediate use. "It works," breathed Maya, unable to contain her excitement. "It actually works." Within weeks, the Orbital Reclamation Initiative gained emergency funding. Additional nanite swarms were deployed, targeting larger debris clusters. The technology evolved rapidly, with Maya's team developing specialized configurations for different materials and applications. 6 months into the project, they had cleared a significant corridor through Earth's orbital debris field and amassed a substantial inventory of reconfigured materials. Then came the unexpected discovery. During a routine reclamation operation, targeting a cluster of fragments from an old Russian satellite, one of Maya's engineers detected an anomaly. "Commander Chen, there's something embedded in this debris cluster that doesn't match any known satellite configuration," reported Specialist Zhang. "It's approximately cylindrical, 1 meter in length, and appears to be active." "Active, as in powered." Maya moved to examine Zhang's terminal. "Yes, Mom. Low-level energy signature, unknown composition. It doesn't match anything in our database." The object was carefully retrieved and brought aboard the Horizon station for examination. A team of specialists worked around the clock to analyze it, eventually reaching an inescapable conclusion. "It's not human in origin," Dr. Okafor announced to the assembled scientists and military personnel. The molecular structure utilizes elements in configurations we've never seen before, and there are components that respond to stimuli in ways that suggest, well, to put it bluntly, artificial intelligence far beyond our capabilities. Colonel Reeves' face appeared on the main communication screen. Are you telling me we found alien technology in our own orbit, Doctor? Yes, sir. And based on its position within that debris cluster, it's been there for at least 20 years. I believe it's a surveillance device. We're being watched. The implications were staggering. Humanity had long debated the existence of extraterrestrial intelligence, but here was definitive proof. And the suggestion that aliens had been monitoring Earth for decades without making contact. Then, 3 days after the discovery, they made contact. Every communication device on Earth received the same transmission simultaneously. Screens displayed a being that resembled a tall, slender humanoid with silvery skin and eyes that seemed to shift color like oil on water. People of Earth, the alien announced in flawless English, I am Ambassador Vex of the Taurian hegemony. We have observed your species for many orbital cycles of your world. Recent developments have necessitated direct communication. Maya watched from Horizon Station alongside Colonel Reeves, who had arrived on an emergency shuttle. Your new technology, the molecular reconfiguration process, has drawn the attention of our Oversight Council. The alien continued. This level of technology indicates an evolutionary threshold that requires assessment. We will arrive at your world in 7 of your days to conduct this assessment. Prepare your leaders for negotiation regarding your species status within the galactic community. As the transmission ended, silence fell over the station. That didn't sound like first contact, Reeves said grimly. That sounded like an inspection. General Hiroshi Tanaka of the United Earth Defense Council appeared on screen next. Commander Chen, Colonel Reeves, you're being patched into an emergency session. Your expertise is needed immediately. The meeting revealed a disturbing analysis from Earth's xenolinguistics experts. The Taurian message contained subtle linguistic markers suggesting not peaceful contact, but evaluation for potential containment. Historical records from other species in their community indicated that civilizations deemed threatening were often placed under restrictive oversight, or in extreme cases, subjected to preventive measures, a euphemism for orbital bombardment. They're coming to determine if we're a threat, General Tanaka summarized. And based on their patterns, developing molecular reconfiguration technology has already put us in the high-risk category. 7 days, Maya muttered. That's not enough time to develop any meaningful defense. Then an idea struck her. Unless we use what we already have. Maya outlined her audacious plan. The nanite technology they had developed for debris reclamation could, with modifications, be repurposed. Instead of simply clearing Earth's orbital junkyard, they would transform it into humanity's first line of defense. We have thousands of tons of material in orbit, she explained. With the nanites working at maximum capacity, we could reconfigure that debris into defensive platforms, perhaps even rudimentary vessels. Spacecraft built from garbage. Colonel Reeves looked incredulous. Not garbage, Maya corrected. Raw materials perfectly positioned for rapid deployment. And with the advances we've made in the reconfiguration process, we can create structures far more sophisticated than mere solar panels now. The proposal was approved out of desperation. For the next week, Earth's finest engineers and scientists worked alongside Maya's team in a round-the-clock effort. The nanite swarms were reprogrammed, their construction templates replaced with designs for defensive systems. Every piece of debris larger than 10 centimeters was targeted for reclamation. On the 6th day, as the Taurian fleet approached the outer solar system, humanity unveiled its makeshift defense force. 37 vessels of varying sizes, constructed entirely from reconfigured orbital debris. They were ugly, asymmetrical craft that bore little resemblance to the sleek ships of science fiction, but they were functional. Each was equipped with rudimentary propulsion systems, magnetic field generators, and Maya's latest development, offensive nanite delivery systems. Colonel Reeves, now promoted to admiral and given command of this unprecedented fleet, addressed the hastily trained crews from the bridge of the flagship, christened Phoenix. Men and women of Earth's Defense Force, we face an enemy with technology centuries beyond our own. But we have two advantages they don't expect: ingenuity and desperation. History has shown repeatedly that these qualities should never be underestimated. Maya stood at her station on the Phoenix, monitoring the nanite production systems. She had no military training, but her expertise with the technology made her presence essential. "Taurian fleet has entered lunar orbit," announced the tactical officer. 7 capital ships, approximately 25 support vessels. Energy readings suggest weapons systems far beyond our capabilities. Admiral Reeves nodded grimly. "All vessels, assume defensive formation Alpha. Commander Chen, are your systems ready?" Maya checked her displays one last time. "Nanite swarms primed and ready for deployment, Admiral. Response protocols programmed and autonomous targeting systems online." "Then may God help us," Reeves said quietly, "because we're about to find out if humanity deserves a place among the stars." As the alien fleet approached Earth's orbit, humanity's hastily assembled defense force moved to intercept. A ragtag collection of vessels born from space junk, about to challenge a galactic power that had traveled between stars. Defiance among the stars. The Taurian ships entered Earth orbit with mathematical precision, their formation suggesting absolute confidence. Each vessel gleamed with a metallic perfection that made humanity's recycled fleet look even more pathetic by comparison. "They're hailing us," reported Lieutenant Park from communications. Admiral Reeves straightened his uniform. On screen, Ambassador Vex appeared, his silvery features showing what Maya interpreted as mild surprise. "You have constructed vessels. Interesting, though ultimately futile. Our scans indicate primitive technology." "We prefer to think of it as resourceful," Reeves responded. "We understand you've come to assess our species. We're prepared to demonstrate our capabilities." The alien's color-shifting eyes narrowed. "Assessment has already begun, Admiral. Your species has reached a technological threshold that historically indicates aggressive expansion. The hegemony maintains galactic stability by managing such potential threats." "And if we object to being managed?" Reeves asked. "Then we implement containment protocols," Vex replied flatly. "This typically involves orbital restrictions and technology limitations. Resistance results in more severe measures." Maya exchanged glances with Reeves. The translation was clear: submit to becoming a vassal species or face extinction. "We request time to consult with our planetary government," Reeves said, stalling for time. "You have 1 planetary rotation," Vex granted before terminating the communication. The moment the transmission ended, Reeves turned to Maya. "Will your system work against their hull materials?" "Theoretically, yes," Maya replied. "The nanites are designed to break down any material into its component elements, but we need to get them close enough to make contact." "That's where our battle plan comes in," Reeves said, gesturing to the tactical display. Operation Trojan. The strategy was desperate but ingenious. Instead of engaging the technologically superior Taurian vessels directly, Earth's fleet would execute a series of feinting maneuvers designed to appear chaotic, as if commanded by inexperienced officers. This would draw the aliens into a predictable response, allowing targeted deployment of the nanite weapons. As Earth's deadline approached, Admiral Reeves opened a channel to all ships. "This is not just a battle for Earth's freedom. It's a statement about humanity's place in the universe. We've spent our history fighting amongst ourselves, but today we stand united against an external threat. Whatever happens, let them remember that humans do not surrender their future easily." The Earth fleet moved into action, breaking formation in what appeared to be a disorganized retreat. The Taurian vessels responded as predicted, advancing to establish a containment perimeter. Nanite deployment vessels in position, Maya reported as the smaller, faster human ships maneuvered behind the alien formation. "Execute Trojan," ordered Reeves. 5 Earth vessels suddenly accelerated toward the nearest Taurian ship, appearing to make a suicidal attack run. The alien vessel responded with an energy blast that disabled 2 of the human ships, but not before they had released their nanite payloads. The microscopic machines attached to the Taurian hull, invisible to sensors calibrated for conventional weapons. Once attached, they began their work, dismantling the advanced alien alloys molecule by molecule. Nanite swarm active and replicating, Maya confirmed, watching her displays. Molecular deconstruction proceeding at expected rates. At first, nothing seemed to happen. The Taurian ships continued their methodical advance, apparently unaffected. Then, 18 minutes into the engagement, the targeted vessel suddenly lost power to its starboard propulsion system. Within another 10 minutes, sections of its hull began to visibly deteriorate. "By the stars," breathed Lieutenant Park. "It's working." Ambassador Vex's transmission cut in, his silvery features now fluctuating with what appeared to be alarm. "What weapon is this? Our sensors detect no energy signatures." Admiral Reeves allowed himself a small smile. "Just demonstrating our species' resourcefulness, Ambassador. I believe you called it primitive technology." 3 more Taurian vessels now showed signs of nanite infection, their perfect formations wavering as systems failed. The remaining alien ships began firing indiscriminately, but the human fleet had already adopted evasive patterns, continuing to deploy nanite swarms with each pass. "They're attempting to retreat," reported the tactical officer as the Taurian flagship broke orbit. "Their formation is breaking down." "Pursue and continue deployment," Reeves ordered. "We can't allow them to return to their hegemony with information about our capabilities." The battle extended beyond Earth's orbit, into the space between planets. The nanite-infected Taurian ships gradually lost maneuverability, their once perfect hulls now pitted and deteriorating. Maya continued to monitor and adjust the nanite programming, directing the swarms to focus on propulsion and weapons systems while avoiding life support. "Admiral," Maya said suddenly, studying new data, "I've analyzed the molecular structure of the disabled Taurian vessel. Their hull technology, it's remarkably similar to our nanite construction principles, just more advanced." Reeves looked up sharply. "What are you saying, Commander?" "I'm saying we can do more than just destroy their ships. With some adjustments, we could potentially commandeer them, reprogram their systems using our nanites as an interface." It was a technological gambit without precedent, but with the Taurian fleet in disarray, Reeves approved the attempt. Maya's team reconfigured the nanite swarms targeting the alien flagship, changing their instructions from deconstruction to infiltration and control. 2 hours later, Ambassador Vex appeared on screen again, this time not by choice. The transmission had been initiated by Maya through the compromised Taurian systems. "Impossible." The alien sputtered, his color-shifting eyes now fixed in a pattern that indicated extreme distress. "This level of technological adaptation is exactly what you should have expected," Maya interrupted, stepping forward. "Humans don't just build technology. We improvise, adapt, and overcome. Your mistake was judging us by our apparent technological level rather than our potential." Admiral Reeves joined her. "Ambassador, we now control 5 of your vessels, including your flagship. The rest are disabled or retreating. I suggest we discuss new terms for Earth's relationship with the galactic community." The negotiation that followed was tense but productive. Earth would not be classified as a managed species but recognized as an independent, emerging spacefaring civilization. In exchange, humanity would not share its nanite technology with other species without hegemony consultation. As the remaining Taurian ships departed Earth orbit under escort from the hybrid human-controlled alien vessels, Maya stood at the observation deck of the Phoenix, watching them go. "They'll be back," said Admiral Reeves, joining her. "And not alone next time." "I know," Maya replied, "but we won't be the same either." She gestured to the data scrolling across her tablet. Analysis of Taurian technology gleaned from the captured ships. Their mistake was seeing our debris field as a sign of primitiveness. They never considered that what looks like a junkyard to one species might be a resource to another. Reeves nodded thoughtfully. From scrapyard to Starforce in a week. Imagine what we'll accomplish now that we have access to their technology. In the months that followed, Earth's position in the galactic community evolved rapidly. The Taurian hegemony, humbled by their defeat, reluctantly introduced humanity to other spacefaring civilizations. Some welcomed Earth with cautious optimism, others viewed the newcomers with alarm. What none could deny was that humanity had earned its place among the stars in the most unexpected way possible, by turning its greatest weakness into its most formidable strength. The species that couldn't even keep its own orbit clean had somehow transformed that very failing into a technology that defeated a galactic power. As Maya Chen, now director of Earth's Interstellar Development Program, often reminded the diplomatic corps, never underestimate a species that can turn its trash into battleships. We don't just survive, we adapt, we transform, and we prevail. The galaxy would not make that mistake again.